Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all my blessed beloveds out there. It is living and thriving time. And it's been such an incredible journey to, um, sorry about that. It's been an incredible journey to go around the world and talk to people about how they are staying positive, what they're doing to maintain a positive attitude, healthy relationships. And most importantly, it's been really wonderful with all the takeaways that I've had. One of the takeaways is, what's your passion? Have you been able to sit back and discover what your passion is? Have you sat down to rewrite your mission statement? Have you gone above and beyond and become available to help other people during this time? I had a woman in Spain telling me that they sing happy birthday across the valleys where all the houses are, because they have a very strict policy right now and they'll get arrested if they go out without permission. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and each and every guest has provided us a wonderful opportunity to kind of dig deep, dig in, and reflect as to what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we can do it better. Today I have Amy Kosh on, and she was introduced to me by my best friend, Michelle. And everybody knows how much I love Michelle. She's a sister from a different mister. She's my wild gypsy friend. And I'm going to guess that Amy has a very similar sisterhood to us, because Michelle wouldn't have recommended her otherwise. So we're going to talk to Amy about what she does, what inspires her, why she gets out of bed. You know, there's always a reason, and it's not just to pay bills. It's not just to annoy your children or husbands or whatever. You know, we have this ideology that we get up, go to work, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat. And there's nothing more to it than that. But life is so fascinating and it's so beautiful. And I get to share everybody's life with everybody. And it's just wonderful. So Amy, you are now officially live. Hi, nice to finally meet you. It's taken us a while to get this all together, but you know,
things happen the way they're supposed to.
They do. I find it remarkable how I was supposed to air you like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But this is the perfect time to have you.
Yeah.
So who are you? What do you do? And what inspires you to be you?
So I am, who am I? So I'm Amy Kosh, and I started a life coaching company 10 years ago called An Unstoppable Life. And I named it that because that's when somebody asked me, how are you feeling about everything in your life? I went, friggin' unstoppable. So that was although I think I used a firmer expletive. But really what I've been doing all my life is teaching people how to see the world in a different way. And I'm a systems analyst. So I love helping people get through whatever blocks they have. And my background is in resilience and positive psychology. So what gets me out of bed in the morning, I love that way of putting it, but what really gets me out of bed in the morning is my excitement about what's party. But like this morning, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I started working on this book I'm working on. Took my dog for a walk. And then I ended up having a conversation about resilience with the guy who's landscaping my rental. And so that's what happens. And so that's, really trying to make the world a more joyous world is what keeps me going. And that's really what motivates me underneath everything I do.
Well, and I think it's very positive that you're a numbers cruncher. You know, you have like a linear part of you, but you're really open to seeing beyond those walls. And I think that's beautiful. I think empowering each other is really what we're here to do, and to excite each other and motivate and challenge each other. Mm-hmm. And, finding more people like us that do that is so exciting. It's like this wonderful place, and you just end up talking to strangers. I know I can't even go to the grocery store without having, half and half coffee. Right. Should be 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Um, but that's just what we attract, right?
Yeah.
Because of our energy and our happiness. What is it that, where did you shift from being that rinse and repeat lady to this, oh my God, I want to empower people and get people motivated and moving?
So I've never been a rinse and repeat. I've got to be really honest. I how I ended up with what I'm doing now. So when I say systems analyst, the system I'm looking at is human beings, and it's taken me probably the last 10 years to really step into being really comfortable to say I do healing work. And the work I do, sometimes it looks like life coaching, sometimes it looks like yoga and meditation education, sometimes it looks like teaching photography and painting, and sometimes it looks like these mudras and information that show up when I'm working with people that help them stop feeling migraines, or help them release tension in their body, or help them release something that they've been hanging on to in their past. To me, it's all part of the system. And so that's a really big part of it. And the thing about, I mean, I love the question about like, where did I stop being rinse and repeat? So there's a book that I got introduced to recently, because I've been trying to actually meet a guy. Someday someone will probably show up, I'm hoping. But somebody said, oh, you should read this book called Calling in the One. And I thought, okay, why not? So I'm reading it, and there's an exercise in there where you have to write the path you have taken on your life. And I thought it was a great exercise. You take the path you've taken, and then you have to write out, what if you hadn't taken that path? What if you had done the other things? So I wrote out the path I took, and then I wrote out the other path. And what I realized was the other path would have been the safe one, where I got married to the guy I fell in love with at 20, where we had kids, we started businesses together. It was a very predictable, known, secure path. However, my life was the opposite. So I did all the things you're not supposed to do. I've changed careers 3 or 4 times. I've traveled. I just moved to Colorado 2 months ago. Didn't know anybody, just decided I need to move to Colorado. Love
Yeah,
it
and
here.
that's the gypsy in us.
Yeah.
Ready to
And
go.
it's
Bye.
it's also I think it's really trusting your instincts. And that's a big part of what I really want people to understand is our culture kind of downplays how much our gut can tell us. And I don't want to limit it to our gut. There's so much information that is out there for us when we're really paying attention, whether it's the brain cells throughout our body, or all our past experience, or this information that we get it happens so quickly. Like when you meet somebody, if somebody's being fake, if they're being real, but you can't, if somebody said, well, how is it you know that? Well, it's hard to put your finger on exactly how but you know. And so all of this information that we get all the time, when we trust that information, we end up doing things that really support who we are, what we want to create in the world, and it ends up being really powerful. And I mean, that's what I see you doing too.
I think it's extraordinary when you finally get to a place where you trust yourself enough. And I think we're wired opposite of that. I think, especially as women, we're not really wired to trust ourselves, to feel innately empowered. I think we lose that along the way. And then we get to a certain age where we start grappling with, hey, yeah, this feels good. I want to do more of this. And then things change and all these blocks start going away, and detachment happens. And then all of a sudden we're spending the rest of our lives, hopefully, in a very beautiful place,
Yeah.
And I feel for you on the finding the man thing.
At this point, it's like, look, if the right guy shows up, great. If the guy doesn't show up, great. That's fine.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of and occasionally lift something I can't, but and I do say that tongue in cheek, but I want to say something, because you said something interesting. You said you don't think we're hardwired for this, and I actually think we are, and our culture and our society has recognized that we are so powerful that it has done everything it can to tamp us down and keep us small.
No, and I agree with the hardwired part. I also think that we think not wired that way. We're shown different things throughout our young years that demonstrate to us that
we're told
probably, So it's not that we don't have the capability. I think we're a lot stronger than we even realize. I can testify from my own personal story. I'm a lot stronger than I realized.
Yeah.
And it's impressive every day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm alive. I'm awake. I got through this.
Yeah.
But I think the more, like you said, you were reluctant to talk about being a healer for the last 10 years. Again, that's a sign of progression, because innately.
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I've been doing it all my life. And it took, for the first 20 years, I just thought everybody could do this. It never dawned on me people couldn't. And then people started saying, wait, what was that where did that come from? And then I got kind of quiet about it, because there's so much misuse of the word healer, and, trying to figure out, how do you explain where information comes from when you can't explain where information comes from? Because I don't do Reiki. I don't do these types of healing that are trained. I don't have a name for it, but it works.
Right.
And and I'm an eternal skeptic. So I'm forever saying, well, try this. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, okay. And let me know.
I think that's being human. I don't think that's skeptical. It's just being human.
Yeah. I mean, but then of course we have friends like Michelle, who really, that she knows not necessarily where it's coming from, but she knows that it's other information. And she's so facile and with it. It's amazing. So.
She has worked really, really hard on clearing any obstacles so that she's allowed that privilege. And I've watched her blossom over the years, and she's such a hot ticket. Love her.
She's great. Yeah.
So let's get into your 5 tips, tricks, and you don't have to have 5. Yep. No pressure. No, if you have 8 or if you have 2, that's fine.
Okay.
5 tips, tricks to keep your head clear and motivated and excited and reflective and in a peaceful state at this time, because a lot of people are really struggling with that.
Oh yeah. So, all right. So I've got, I'll do 5 because that's a great number. I like that. So we'll start with a really simple one. It's 4 breaths. And so people can do this, whether you can do it standing or sitting, and you can do it with your eyes open or closed. It does not matter. The first breath, you inhale and exhale, and you don't want to hold it at the top or hold it at the bottom. So first breath, inhale fully and feel your whole height from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet. Second breath, feel your width, shoulder to shoulder, and also front to back. Third breath, lean back about 1/2 inch and lean into all of your experience and all of your knowledge, because we often forget to do that. And then the fourth breath, simply notice how much physical presence you're taking up in the world. Because again, we often undervalue our physical presence. And so that's a really quick way to recenter and reground and calm. So it's great if you're just about to sit down for a Zoom meeting. It's a really great way to kind of recenter and figure out, okay, I'm calm. I know what I want to say, even if you don't know what you want to say, but let yourself have that moment. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I'll do a physical one. So the second one, which is great, because a lot of people are feeling anxiety these days, and migraines and headaches are going along with the anxiety. And I know people are starting to freak out because headaches are one of the symptoms of the virus. And so people are like, oh my gosh, I have a headache. What does it mean? Sometimes a headache is just a headache. So one thing you can do if you have if you're feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension around your head and neck, is take your left hand and you're going to take your right hand and you're going to put your fingers from your right hand right in between the tendons on the back of your hand. And then on the front of your hand, you're just going to place your thumb there. And you're going to gently press for 5 and release for 5. Press for 5 and release for 5. And keep your left hand pretty soft. And press for 5, release for 5. You do that 5 times, and that generally will release anxiety. And because I'm a science geek, here's part of why it works. The pressure point right here on the back of your hand is the acupuncture point for the pericardium, which is the container around your heart. So what you're doing is you're releasing tension around your heart, which makes sense if you're feeling anxious. Okay, so that's the second one. So the third thing is to ask yourself a question. And I'm a real fan, you know, all of these are kind of hacks that you can use. Sometimes one is an easier one for you, someone to do, another one's an easier one. So the third one is a question that you can ask. And the question you can ask is, what am I not telling myself? So no matter what is going on, if you can stop for 3 breaths, which will trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, which means that you're going to calm down. And then ask yourself and be really, really curious about it. What is it I am not telling myself? And listen. And the answer might come up as an answer, words. It might come up as an image. It might come up as an emotion. It might come up as something, you know, that you don't expect. Like your imagination might create this picture of like a boat rocking on the ocean with 5 million anchors on it. It's like, so what do you think 5 million anchors on yourself means, right? So those are 3 that are really useful and practical. And then a couple of others. Because I mentioned the migraine one, I do want to give that to people because that's a really valuable one. So again, left hand, and what you're going to do is you're going to place your left hand on your left thigh. But I'll show you what you do is you take your 2 fingers of your right hand, and you're going to do this with your palm up. So you're sitting with your arm out, and you're going to just take your right hand, and you're going to gently press down the top side and go past your palm. So you're almost sweeping that migraine out of your skin. And you're going to do this just from the elbow, where the elbow bends, all the way down, right down the center line of your arm. But do it with your left arm resting on your leg. That'll be easy. And just do that 5 or 7 times. And so far it's worked with a lot of different people to get rid of a migraine. So those are 4 very simple, quick ones. The 5th one is simply stop and notice, where are you responding to something? And, you know, often we think about responsibility as who's to blame for this thing. But I want to pull that apart, because if we look at responsibility as my ability to respond, it separates it from the action we might want to take. So stop for a minute, no matter what craziness is going on around you, and just take a look at what is it you're responding to in that moment. Take a couple breaths and then decide for yourself, what's the action you want to take that will move you closer to your desired outcome. And the longer a space you can give yourself between noticing what you're responding to, like screaming children, or I'm on my 5th Zoom call of the day and I'm brain dead, or I'm totally stressed and I don't know what's going on, or I'm trying to get through to unemployment and the phone lines won't even take me, right? Whatever it is, notice what you're responding to, take a couple breaths, and then just ask yourself, what is the outcome I want next? And as the minute you figure out what it is you want to create, you will know what action step to take. And by action step, I just mean, what's the next physical thing you have to do? So is it shutting down your computer for 10 minutes, or making a list of things, or getting a glass of water or a cup of tea or a coffee or something, or a popsicle, which is my favorite one, right? So when you name your outcome that you're aiming towards, it's really easy to see the action steps that you want to take rather than getting really frustrated or angry or kind of overwhelmed with all that. So I think that was 5. You'll have
That
to.
was 5. It was perfect. But if you want to drop an F-bomb in that frustrated place before you take your count of 5,
Totally.
nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you already have books out, is that correct? Where can we find more information about you? And I'm going to have to dig back through the emails to get all that
Yeah.
put in here. So
Yeah.
uh,
So you can find more information about me on my website, which is anunstoppablelife.com. Also, I'm on Medium, Unstoppable Life, on Instagram at Amy Kosh1, on Facebook. You can either find me at amy.kosh or An Unstoppable Life. I'm working on 2 books right now. One is called, the one that is going to be finished relatively soon is called Adulting 101, a handbook for everyone. And it's really a quick handbook, like if you want to know how to do something in life, or you want to know what you should know how to do in life, you just look up that on that page. And that'll be out relatively soon. And then there's a book of poetry that's coming out, because these poems keep showing up and I just keep writing them down.
now, when
Yeah.
you do your coaching, are you because you travel, obviously, you move.
Yep.
So you're all virtual, or do you have online classes? How does that process work for you?
Yeah. So I do a lot of motivational speaking to groups, and I also help teams build better cultures and better resilience. So I use some assessments like the Resilient Quotient Index for that, which is a really fun kind of thing. But I also, when I'm coaching people, it's always over the phone or on video calls. 99% of the people I work with, we do over the phone, because we're often moving around. And if you're trying to stay in front of a camera, it's a little like it limits you. So almost everybody I coach with, we might do 1 or 2 video calls in the beginning, but then we're always coaching over the phone. I've had people walk me on hikes while we're coaching. And I always offer, if anybody's interested in finding out what working with me is like, you can send me an email or just sign up for a free strategy call on my website, and we'll check for fit. If it's a great fit, excellent. If it's not a great fit, I always want to make sure that I can give you resources or refer people out, so that no matter what happens, if I talk to you, you're going to get something useful out of it.
Well, and I think that reciprocation is really important. I've had clients where it just was not a good fit, and being the nice person that I used to be in my past life, and I mean that in strength and growth,
Yeah.
I would struggle to try to get them, and I don't do that anymore, because if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit for either one of you. And the whole purpose of coaching and helping you empower yourself with the tools that we have available as coaches is to allow you to grow on your own, not force you to grow, because force does not do anything except cause friction. And friction does what? It makes you swear a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's true. And I love working with people who I know, like my best clients are, I always say, they're very much like me. They're too smart for their own fucking good. And that's my client base. Yes. Because we have a tendency to outwit ourselves and to, get in our own way, and really to overplan and overcommit, and then wonder, wait, why don't I have time to do anything? So all the things that I have learned about how to create a really amazing life in business is what I help my clients do, because I was there, and we all kind of coach from where we came from.
Yeah, those are the tools that, yeah, I know that one. And for me, it's also having to unprogram abuse strategies, sort of survival strategies. So yeah, that's been a good time.
Yeah, but useful, right? Because that's part of, I really do think that's a big part of why we're here as humans on the planet, is we're not here to make a whole lot of money. We're not here to run corporations. We're here to actually grow humanity into a more cohesive and coherent collective so that everybody benefits and everybody has an amazing life. We all have that capacity. Somehow we've gotten a little sidetracked.
We have become, and it's almost every show I bring up the same thing. So my regulars are probably rolling their eyes and going, here she goes on the TV tangent again. But Martha, it's true.
Yeah.
We're fast food. We stuff ourselves with TV and things that are not real. And I'm all about sci-fi and fun stuff, but nature is really cool to watch too. And watching your dog is really cool because my dogs are really silly. But having that contact outside of the stuffiness that we do, it's constant. And during this time, I find it very inspirational because we really have to take that time out. We really have to get good with who we are and get good with the silence.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary for some people right now, is that whole, whoa, I get up when I get up and I brush my teeth when I brush my teeth. So I'm really trying to get people to think that vacation time's over and to start a routine again like you used to have to prepare for whatever is going to transpire when we finally get to go outside.
Yeah. And it's, this is such a valuable time that we've been given because especially in Western culture, we're not given a lot of time to be quiet and introspective and really get to know ourselves. And what I get, especially with a lot of my clients, because I do a lot of career and team building, but really for everybody is that if you don't know who you are and you're not comfortable with who you are, and instead you're rushing around to create a career or work at a job or have a family or all these things that you think you're supposed to have. And then 20 or 30 years down the road, you're like, wait, this isn't what I wanted. I'm not happy, but everything looks great on paper. Part of it is we need to learn to take time for ourselves to really get to know ourselves and be really comfortable with all the messiness and all the loose ends and all the, crazy hair days and all of that, because that's who we truly are. And the minute we step into seeing and accepting and loving who we are, that's where everything shifts. Like everything seems to fall into place at that point. Because it's really easy to winnow out the stuff that doesn't support you once you actually know who you are. So, yeah. So I'm on the same page. I'll proselytize with you.
Yeah. Preach, sister, preach.
Yes.
It's actually it's like a completely different world that you live in once you get really good with yourself. And, I still have scars and wounds and I still have ouchies and I love them and they're there and they will heal when it's time for them to heal. And, I don't wave them around and say, hey, look at my boo-boo. Because that's not where I'm at. But every morning that I wake up, it's another day for me to be mischievous, another day for me to cause mayhem, another day to sing, even though I shouldn't. Everybody knows that, but I don't care. This is my life, right? And so when you get to that place, it's actually really quite exciting and invigorating because I get to look at the world with a completely fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
And it's not from hurt. It's not from, all of those things, all of those lessons that we had to learn. And I, like you, have to have the cosmic 2x4 a lot.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah. The one thing I also wanted to say, because I love that you touched upon that, is it's not about being perfect. We're messy. Human beings are messy and complicated. We're also the only beings that are capable of having 4 emotions occur all at one time, often conflicting, right? So
we're a walking dichotomy. And I say that all the time. We're a bag of water, dichotomy, hypocrites, confused, swirling on a big rock going into infinity. There's no control there. And we try so hard to.
Yeah. And just the acceptance of like, we're not perfect. We can't be perfect. It's all going to be a mess. And so why not enjoy the mess of it?
Exactly right. Yes. Yeah. Messy sister. I knew I'd like you. So one more time where we can find you and then your parting words, my friend, because unfortunately I have to go.
That's okay. So people can find me at anunstoppablelife.com or on Medium and Unstoppable Life, Instagram, Facebook. Look up Amy Kosh or An Unstoppable Life. Shoot me an email, send me a text. I'd love to hear from you. Smoke signals don't work yet. And my parting words are, I hope that what you found, some of the things that I offered are really useful here. And if you're interested in working with me, I would love to talk to you, and you can just hit me up with an email or a text, and that's about it. But it's been lovely, lovely talking with you.
It's finally nice to meet you. And as the universe does, likes to play jokes and tricks,
Yes.
but it was perfect timing.
Oh, this was great. So great to meet you.
Nice to finally meet you too. And please keep in touch. I have some things that I'm cooking up and I think you'd be a good fit for. So I'll circle around with you.
All right. Take care, Rusty.
Bye.
Bye.
You're watching Living and Thriving with Rusty, and I'm Rusty. And guess what? I have some of the coolest people ever in my life. Tell me you're not walking away with your chin up and maybe your third chin like me up. I don't know. You can have as many chins as you want. But takeaways. What are the takeaways that you get from each and every show? Comment down here below. And if you want to reach Amy, my goodness, her information is down here or over there or wherever I decide to put it. Depends on my mood. You know me. Takeaways, write a mission statement, get fun, get a, face paint, play games, scream, sing, dance in your house naked if you want to. And I don't care if the curtains are up, none of my business. My curtains are always down. Have fun, enjoy life. It's too short. You're beautiful, you're beautifully flawed. And that's what I love about you. And that's why this show is so exciting for me to do every day. Until next time, know that you're beautiful, know that you're loved, and I'll see you soon.